Duos, we all love them. It doesn't matter in what context and what field, duos are awesome. In the sports world with the iconic Kobe and Shaq, New England's Brady and Gronk, and my favorite, the Splash Brothers. In the culinary world with salt and pepper, peanut butter and jelly, surf and turf, and so on. Of course, in the fictional world, everywhere you look, there's iconic duos anywhere. Diving more specifically into the superhero world, duos are this genre's bread and butter. And DC has many excellent duos to choose from. From the wonderful and titanic duo of Dick Grayson and Donna Troy, to the emerald pair of Green Lantern and Green Arrow, to the world's finest themselves and more. There are so many outstanding duos to choose from. But there is one duo that I believe doesn't have enough spotlight. A duo of heroes tailor-made for the modern era. The Green Lantern pair of Jessica Cruz and Simon Baz. Now, if you watch my channel, first, you're amazing, and second, you might be saying, haven't you already talked about them enough, man? And yeah, I probably have, but honestly, I do not give a fuck. I love these two so much, and I'm gonna find every excuse I can to talk about them more. Jessica is my favorite character of all time. I love talking about her, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. And Simon is my 10th favorite. He's up there and doesn't get enough attention at all. But also, I've only gone over them as a duo very briefly, and they're my favorite duo ever, so I'm gonna give them some love. Oh, also real quick, I have this quick survey on superhero films for my research class, and it would be really awesome if you guys took it. It's only around 5 minutes long, and you get to watch a clip from a goated superhero movie. I'll link it in the comments, and it's in the community tab as well. I've made a few videos before on pairs of characters, and I just go through the set show and praise how the pair worked throughout. Conveniently for me, I can do the same thing here with a comic run, because the Sam Humphries Green Lantern's Rebirth run is entirely focused on Jessica and Simon. So this video is actually sort of doubling as a Green Lantern's Rebirth video. But before we get there, let's introduce our duo with their origin stories. Starting off from Portland, Oregon, Jessica Cruz. Now I have a dedicated video on Jessica, which you should totally watch. It's one of my favorite videos I've ever made, but for this video I give the TLDR. Jessica went on a hunting trip one day with her friends, and her friends were brutally murdered in front of her. This triggered PTSD and agoraphobia, leading her to lock herself in her apartment for years. While in her apartment, the Ring of Othum chose her to become the next Power Ring. For those who don't know Power Ring, it's basically just evil Green Lantern. After an amazing moment with Batman, she joins the Justice League as a good twist on Power Ring. However, during Darkseid War, she sacrifices herself to save the Flash, and supposedly dies. But now a Green Lantern Ring recognizes her ability to overcome fear, and chooses her to become the newest Green Lantern of Sector 2814. Pretty crazy, I know, but our other friend's origin story is just as crazy. From Dearborn, Michigan, Simon Baz. Simon grew up in post 9/11 America as a Muslim man and faced heavy discrimination. And then when the financial crisis hit, he'd lose his job and would have to resort to desperate measures to get money, a lot of which was car related. He's a car guy, he loves everything about cars. He'd participate in street racing and steal cars to resell for parts. One day he stole a car with explosives in it by accident, and when he was caught, he was suspected to be a terrorist just because of his heritage and was sent to Guantanamo Bay. Before he was about to be tortured, a Green Lantern Ring chose him to be the newest Green Lantern of Sector 2814. Really crazy origin stories, even by superhero standards, but I'd say both are really intriguing, and that's what superhero origins have to be first and foremost. They're the hook. They have to be eye-catching. There were 4 human Green Lanterns that came before these two, known as the 4 Corpsmen. I'm sure you know at least the first 3. Hal Jordan, the de facto Green Lantern, John Stewart, the most common secondary lantern that has had some lead lantern roles, Guy Gardner, pretty iconic as a side character due to his explosive personality, and Kyle Rayner, the least known one in mainstream media, but probably the most significant outside of Hal. The point being, there were already a lot of Green Lanterns. If you're going to add more, you have to do something innovative, and both of these characters fit that bill amazingly. The origin stories being a huge part of it, but also because they're both incredibly unique in terms of being Green Lantern and a superhero. Jessica suffers immensely from anxiety. The Green Lantern Ring is something powered off willpower, the fight back against fear. Jessica is at first glance the exact opposite of what you expect a Green Lantern and a hero to be. However, that's what makes her so interesting. That uniqueness and how relatable she is, which I'll go over more as the video goes on. Simon is incredibly paranoid of the world around him. Why wouldn't he be? The world has done nothing but say he's not welcome. He's very mistrusting of everything, including his ring. He was known to be the Gun Lantern, because he always had a gun at his side despite wielding the strongest weapon in the universe. His struggles are also unique and is a very relatable character. Importantly, these two are very different people. They respond to their problems in completely opposite ways. They initially did not like each other at all. but over the course of their journeys, they have really started to see each other in a better light. They have realized that while they are completely different, at the same time they're very similar. Both two scared to death people thrown to the wolves of being a Green Lantern. Importantly, they grew incredibly understanding of each other and became each other's closest person. And it all started because they were forced to work together. So now we can dive into their journey they went on in this run. The first arc is a great intro to everything. We see two people that are clearly not comfortable with each other or their jobs. Simon is a pretty Green Lantern and Jessica literally can't make a construct yet, and they have to fight the Red Lanterns. It doesn't go awesome in the beginning for pretty easy to see reasons, which only reinforces the disdain each of them has for each other. Especially when after Simon purifies the Red Lantern of their rage, which is an incredibly stupid thing. Like, how the fuck does that even work? Jessica fucks up and attacks her, reigniting that rage. So Simon thinks Jessica is useless dead weight, and Jessica thinks Simon is yet another person that doubts her and is out to get her. But we get to this moment here, where Jessica snaps and lets out a little of that pent-up stress and anxiety, saying what's on her mind of "you think I fucking suck and don't want me here." And Simon neither denies it in a patronizing way, nor does he continue to belittle her even more. He shares some of his own struggles, being more open and trusting her enough to let her know. The first time anyone has really opened up to Jessica like that and trusts her despite her deficiencies. The first time anyone in the hero field has really acknowledged her deficiencies and said, "Hey, you can still do this." This is an incredibly significant moment because this is where this pair thrives. There are two broken and lost people, yet they help each other find their way despite the glaring differences between them. They reinforce each other and help each other get better, and this is the start of that. The next few arcs are for furthering this baseline of trust these two have. Jessica goes over to Simon's family's house and she's about to back out because of her social anxiety. She just fought a giant red alien, but a gathering of like 5 people is just too much. Really relatable, dude. But Simon reassures her enough to keep her around, and they make these traditional Lebanese cookie things together with their rings, and I love this moment so much. We just see them start to soften up on each other in terms of being heroes, but now they start doing normal people things, cooking together and helping each other out, the more slice of life aspect. And I'm gonna be so honest, if there's a slice of lifestyle thing with Simon and Jess, my life would be completed, because that's my favorite part about these two. Over the course of the story, they become such genuine friends, and watching them be friends is just so fun. Because of the journey both of these characters take and how fun and relatable both are. We'll get to see that in action in this issue here. This is after a frankly pretty dumb arc, the thing where this dude gets the Phantom Ring, and I genuinely hate this guy. He has the lamest origin I've ever heard. Really? He just really wanted to be a Green Lantern? Now he's just a salty loser because he didn't get a ring? Admittedly, the part where one was going to choose him but changed his mind was really funny, but fucking hate this guy. It did establish more of Jessica and Simon's partnership, and them trusting each other more. And the part where Jessica puts on the ring herself and still remains Green Lantern is really important. I said it in my Jess video, but this shows how much willpower she had to just be in that position. For someone so scared and anxious, just being out there is the ultimate showcase of willpower. Simon also not taking it despite his paranoia of him not being good enough was also a pretty important moment. But we're talking about the issue after all this, because it is really where Jessica and Simon truly become best friends. It revolves around Jessica still struggling with things like not getting out of bed. Despite trying so hard to overcome this, she still can't always. Because something like this isn't easily cured or even cured at all. It's a lingering, terrible feeling. She still though can get herself to get up and try, and that's what makes her so good. But in this issue, her anxiety was especially spiking up and she was struggling badly. She froze and Simon called her out on it. That was really the straw that broke the camel's back for her. She snapped at Simon for not getting her problems and then flew off. Thinking again, people don't get her, she's alone in this. But instead of just doing nothing, Simon went to Jessica's house, and he made her pancakes and they had pancakes together, laughing, telling bad jokes, having a good time over a staple food known for comfort and peace. And Simon let her know that he sees her fighting her struggles and is proud and is there for her. This is really the first time anyone has made this effort for Jessica outside of her sister, to make it abundantly clear that he has her back in this, that he genuinely cares, and despite not fully understanding her struggles, he sees her fighting. And for him, this is the first time that he's trusted and cared about someone enough to do this outside of his family. Simon has had no reason to trust anyone or anything in his life, but he trusts and cares about Jessica. If I had to choose my favorite issue from this run, it would probably be this one, showcasing Jessica's struggles and how relatable they are, how despite her grand role of a superhero, she struggles with something that so many others struggle with, and how you need someone to support you like Simon. After Jessica gets a really good issue, we focus on Simon a bit more over the next few arcs, when we head to Gotham City, where Simon would finally give up his gun, the symbol that showed how paranoid and mistrusting of the world and himself he still was at this point. Now in all fairness, it was not Jessica who was the driving force for him to give it up. It was our favorite rich kid with issues. Lots of issues. which was great. There's a lot of history of Batman and Green Lanterns. Not a lot of it is too positive, but he got along well enough with Simon, even saying he's the only Green Lantern he would work with. This arc had Jess and Simon work with Batman to stop Scarecrow spreading fear gas infused with like yellow lantern essence or something, which is something I thought was a really cool idea, especially for these two lanterns, having them face their greatest fears, things that have already happened to them. It would have been super interesting to see. Unfortunately, it ends rather quickly, but it was used as a moment for Simon to overcome his fears of his experiences and trauma, and for him to give up his gun, really symbolizing his growth so far. Now again, I did say a lot of this was because of Batman, and it was, but there is no way any of this would have happened without Jessica. Remember, Simon really did not trust anyone outside of his family. Jessica was the first person he let in a while. Through helping Jessica and just having a great friend, he was able to trust himself more. He didn't end up wearing the Phantom Ring even though he wanted to at first due to his paranoia and around his abilities. Why? Because now he has a partner he can trust in both hero life and out to pick him up when he goes down, and with that assurance, his confidence and trust only rises. None of that is possible if he wasn't forced to pair up with a certain anxiety-ridden nerd from Portland. After this arc, we really get Jessica and Simon completely trusting of each other, having no doubts that they have each other's back and genuinely caring for each other. We see it in the Dr. Polaris and the Green Lantern training arcs. But those arcs were just a warm-up for the absolutely bonkers insane arc that comes next. Now with superhero plots, I am incredibly easy to please. Literally all it takes is as long as it doesn't make me think about how bad it is, it's good. And this one did make me think, but in all the good ways. It is fucking crazy. Our heroes get sent back billions of years in the past by the first Lantern and mentor the first Green Lanterns? Among the first Green Lanterns is a Kryptonian who dies immediately, a nature person, a fucking Martian, a giant dude, holy shit. Now, I usually hate time travel plots because it's really confusing usually, but this is so clearly so out of this world bonkers that I don't care. It's so wacky and makes so little sense that it's fine. In terms of how it is for our duo, this kind of is a callback to the first arc, because now Simon cannot make construct because his ring got sort of exploded, so this time it was Jessica that would have to take the lead, teaching these new lanterns how to use their rings, having Simon's back, and going to fight Volthoom. In all honesty, while Volthoom's whole thing is kind of interesting, I kinda could not care less about his part of the arc. After everything is sorted, Jess and Simon go back to Earth, and the next few arcs are I think what solidified this duo as so awesome to me. Again, everything before was amazing, it was more so the foundation. A lot of the substance comes from the following arcs, showing just how important these two are to each other and how much they have done. Fittingly, we start off with Jessica and Simon going to a party. Now Jessica, as we know, has major social anxiety still, and in the beginning of the story, she definitely would not have stayed there. But this is after all she's been through with Simon. Despite her early fears, she ended up having a great time. Having fun with Simon's sister, getting rejected, and pantsing someone, a great moment to showcase how far she has come. And a reminder that being with Simon is a huge reason why she's able to be there, because she had someone having her back who genuinely cared about her the whole time. Also, this was just really fun to watch. She's just like us guys. She gets rejected. Simon, on the other hand, was busy arguing with his closest friend. Since he became a Green Lantern, his friend was kinda mad as he thought Simon was sorta ditching him. Now I hate this trope of a close person of a superhero being mad that they're a superhero, but this one wasn't that bad and I kinda like their awkward makeup. It shows Simon's own progress in trusting people and letting people in and back in. And I really enjoyed Jessica's little tease, goes without saying, but these two have amazing chemistry. Anyway, now we go back to space where this planet is getting destroyed, and we get even more funny banter, and god fucking damn it, they're so fun together. I haven't mentioned this enough, these two are so funny. They are corny as fuck, but I love it. I don't know how else to describe it other than they feel like real funny people. How they talk feels so real and natural. I laughed out loud multiple times while reading this run, and it's so fun because again, they are that pair of opposites, the Pokemon loving dork and the jock car guy, but of course they aren't really opposites. At their core, there are two broken people given enormous power without much knowledge of what to do with it and handle life. They both have trauma, trust issues, and really have similar struggles such as employment. Throughout their own individual journeys and each other, they began to trust themselves and everything around them much more, to the point now where these two can save whole planets together, because they've established so much trust, and that is what has gotten them so far. It truly cannot be understated how much these two have done for each other to this point and how much they care about each other. And if you need even more of a reminder, look no further than the dating app arc. This arc revolves around a superhero dating app that is used to traffic superheroes. A pretty silly idea, but just play along. Simon has been searching for love after alien Miley Cyrus didn't work out, and noticed his new date hasn't responded in a while. And well, turns out it's because these people are getting trafficked. So Jess and Simon go to this planet to rescue everyone and have some cool fights. But the important thing to talk about here is to showcase Jess and Simon's relationship. Jessica has been alone for so long that dating is such a foreign concept, which, you know, relatable as fuck. I told you she's really relatable. So she doesn't go after it. Simon, on the other hand, we see go after lots of dates. He obviously wants a connection and seems pretty overeager, as demonstrated by alien Miley Cyrus. So again, these two are going on what seems to be opposite trajectories, but by the end, they arrive at the same place. Simon realizes that hunting for relationships is not a great idea and not what he needs at all. He needs to figure out how to be alone. Why does he realize this? Well, because of Jessica. To him, Jessica's ability to be comfortable alone is what he should be more like. But more importantly, he isn't alone because he has Jessica. Because what is a relationship supposed to do? Anchor your life, provide love and support, provide an opportunity to love and support, the whole shebang. Well, he has it all with Jessica. He has had that over his whole journey. I love this moment because it's yet another perfect representation of the journeys for both of them. Simon realizes what he has with Jessica and just really how much he means to him. I won't even bitch about the annoying tease relationship this time, because ultimately, it doesn't really matter. It was just, kind of annoying. And for the record, they're better platonically, but it would be an excellent romance. Now, this was Simon's arc to showcase how important Jessica is to him. Now let's go to Jessica's arc to showcase how important Simon is to her. This arc revolves around Jessica getting sucked into this weird villain mind thing. They feed off fear and stuff like that. Jessica, despite her best efforts, has not fully gotten over that night in the woods. Because, well, how could she? It was a traumatic event beyond imagination. So when she got the opportunity to maybe fix this, she begrudgingly took it with this villain lady. Now, it didn't go as intended. She kinda made a black hole, and she got trapped in that memory again, reverting back to powering. But Simon went in, and he was able to get her out of this nightmare. Jessica was blocking every bit of that night as she could. She didn't want to remember the faces of the mobsters or report them. She felt as if it was worthless to do so. But this is what blocked her from moving on. It's what lingered and lingered. Simon was able to get through that, reminding her how strong she is, reminding her that her friends will always be with her, reminding her he will always be there for her. And that is what broke through for Jessica. Because Simon was there for all of it and she trusts him. So she finally let down the last of her walls for him. It is just so peak. Now the last few arcs I don't feel like going over too much. Not many more Jessica and Simon moments. There was Simon still trusting Jessica after she was labeled a rogue fugitive, which is a really dumb arc, and Jessica not believing for a second Simon betrayed them in that last Star Wars space battle arc with Cyborg Superman. But overall, not much to mention, so I will now conclude all my thoughts and leave the final sentiments. I love these two so much. They both resonate with me so deeply. I relate to Jessica more as someone who gets socially anxious, has self-doubt issues, and is also a Pokemon-loving dork. Seeing her journey was so amazing for me. I really rooted for her, and I was more happy for her than I have been for any other fictional character, and this journey would not be possible without Simon, without someone to open up her eyes to the world and give her a chance to trust. In a way, it reminds me of what my own friends have done for me. These two helped each other trust themselves and the world, and were so much more fun to follow. They need more attention so bad. So of course in the new Jessica Cruz animated show coming out, he is nowhere to be seen, because why would he have something that makes sense? Anyway, these two are amazing, read the Rebirth comics, and please take my survey.